Whatever your position is as a healthcare practitioner, we can all benefit from being a little bit more effective and efficient. That's why we're talking to Rowdy Mclean. Rowdy is here to give us some straight, honest advice on how we can get real. Today we're speaking with the Get Real guy, Rowdy Mclean. Rowdy has had experience at success, but also he's got a bit of book smarts and a lot of street smarts. Rowdy, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
You're welcome.
So, Rowdy, we're always told to dream big, but you've been successful. Do you think dreaming is the only thing we've got to do?
I think dreaming big is fantastic, but I think ultimately you've got to get some rubber on the ground. You've got to get out there and do stuff, get off your backside.
And what if we do something isn't there risk in doing things too quickly?
I don't think there's any risk in doing things too quickly. I have a theory called fail fast. You know, I don't want to be left wondering about whether something works or whether it's a good idea or whether, you know, I'm with the right person or doing the right thing. I want to know as fast as I can. So the quicker I get the rubber on the road, the more likely I'm going to get to the result.
And do you think testing an idea, we need to test it with doing research and things like that first, or just like you said, doing it?
I think people spend a lot of time testing ideas in their head and don't take them anywhere. I think ultimately you've got to come up with some theory, but somewhere you've got to put it into action. Yeah.
And I know you coach a lot of really high-powered executives, and you call yourself the Get Real guy. Are there people that aren't real, or how do we know if we're being real?
I think there's a heap of pretenders out there, you know, people who think they're real, they're doing a really good job. They're caught up in this little cotton wool comfort zone. And if they can break out of that, there's some amazing things that can be achieved.
Like what? Give me some examples of the benefits.
Well, I think ultimately people procrastinate, you know, or so they put things off to whenever. So when I pay off the house, when the kids grow up and move up, when I get that promotion, when the business gets to this level. And so next thing they know, they're 65, retiring, and what happened to all that stuff?
Yeah, there were so many things I wanted to do.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is they do this perfection thing, you know. So, so why haven't you written that book? Oh, because it's got to be perfect.
Or I have to get credibility or
And so seeking either perfection or being stalled by procrastination is the real poison of achievement, I think.
And you've managed a lot of businesses as well. What are the benefits of being a manager that knows whether they're real or not? Or getting real as a manager?
Yeah, I think being authentic is critical as a leader, as a manager. You know, if people know who you really are and how you're likely to react and behave, they'll follow you.
And what does that do to boundaries though? Like, do we need to have boundaries? Do we need to be a different person that we are at home or at work? Or what do you think about that?
I think that's an imposter, isn't it? You know, you're wearing two hats. If you can't be the same person, when do you change?
And how do we encourage our staff to get real?
By taking the foot off the brake, putting it on the accelerator.
Oh gosh.
But you know, allowing people to make mistakes, to stuff up. In actual fact, in companies I work with, I get them to encourage their employees to make mistakes. You know, like at Google, if you work at Google, you get a whole day to work on stuff that's of your own choice. And they're inviting their people to be creative and innovative. But if you have an environment where every time somebody makes a mistake, you slap them across the head, then what are people doing? They're running around going, no mistakes, no mistakes.
Yeah, they're just working for the boss rather than working for outcomes maybe. Is that what you'd say? And if we've got a business, how do we know whether that's the right thing for us to be doing?
Well, I think there is definitely an alignment.
Yeah.
So,
alignment with what?
Alignment with your own personal strengths and skills. And passion. It's hard to be in business. Like, it'd be no good me running a muffin break, for instance.
Because you'd eat all the muffins? Just kidding.
Yeah, so I think finding a business that you have some passion about, have some
Yeah.
skills and knowledge about,
Yeah.
is a great way to start. It's no good sitting in your cubicle at whatever bank and going, oh, I want to go and have my own business, and then going and buying somebody else's idea, or going running an idea because you think it's fantastic but you have no strengths or skills or passion around it.
And so besides from the alignment and passion, skills and strengths, what are some other things that we need to do if we want to find our real selves?
I think we need to toughen up.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need a teaspoonful of cement. You know?
Yep.
Like, I think we're soft, seriously. I think,
Yeah.
you know, by toughening up, I mean, we need to ask for real feedback. So tell me
Yeah.
how things really are.
Yeah.
Now, put your chin out there, let somebody have a really good swing at it, and take it
And
on
how
board.
do you do that without taking it personally? I know, what's the difference between taking it on board and taking it really personally? Or should we take it personally?
Well, if you take it personally, you don't really want to know. Like, if you're going to
Yeah.
sit there and deflect and defend and
Yeah.
do those things, then you don't really know. So, you know, go back to your little business, hide behind your little desk and stay there forever. But if you really want to go places, invite some feedback.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can then, if you get enough of it, you can go, all right, so I've been told that 7 times out of 10.
That's probably close to right. And when you say that, should we do that in a formal process, or do we just ask people? Do we give them time to prepare, or what?
No, I do it informally because you're more likely to get the truth.
Yeah, okay, so they don't have time to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
So Rowdy, you've worked with a lot of business owners and, you know, high-powered executives. What are a couple of things that you think they're doing wrong?
I don't think that they're focused.
Yeah.
You know, really focused on the next best thing.
For them, or for their company, or for their business, or
Both.
for clients? Okay.
Both. And so a great mate of mine, Creel Price, that I do some work with in a company called Accelerate Global, talks about focus in the playground. So when you go in a playground with a magnifying glass and there's bits of paper there and you shine the magnifying glass on one bit of paper, then another bit of paper, another bit of paper, none of them
Did you
ever...
start the bushfire?
Yeah, I was like that. But none of them will catch fire because you keep shifting focus all the time. But if you take one piece of paper and focus the magnifying glass on it so the sun's rays are in exactly the same spot all the time. I think business is like that.
And what if you're thinking, what if you are trying to be real, do something a bit differently, but you've still got your old job, or you've still got your old ways of doing things that are paying the mortgage, allowing you to look after your family? How do you do that without switching focus? You know, keeping that running with doing what you feel like your life purpose is?
But there is no old, really, is there?
Yeah.
No, you can't drive forward looking in the rear vision mirror.
Yeah.
No, so I'd say pull it off, throw it in the back seat. You know why the windscreen's this wide and the rear vision mirror's this wide? Because it's more interesting going forward.
Great. Rowdy, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today.
Thank you, Tara. It's been great.
We've just been speaking with Rowdy Mclean, who's given us some great advice on how we can get real. Rowdy, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
You're welcome, Tara.